Well, we have a big Alex Jones update. A Connecticut judge has ordered InfoWars founder Alex Jones and his company to pay an additional $473 million to the families of 8 victims of the Sandy Hook shooting. The Washington Post reports that families and an FBI agent sued Jones for spreading misinformation about the 2012 mass shooting, where 20 kids were killed, 6 teachers were killed at the elementary school in Newtown. The judge's order comes nearly a month after Jones was ordered to pay $965 million in damages. So we're looking at almost $1.5 billion. Jones, who's argued he doesn't have the money, was ordered not to transfer his assets outside of the United States until further notice. $1.5 billion.
Is he still in America?
I don't know.
He's doing a show.
I don't know anything about this guy.
He should get the hell out of the country.
He should have.
Well, you talk about Weinstein, should have left.
Chris, you ever find that Weinstein? We looked for that Weinstein Garagos thing, right? Remember you were looking for that? Yeah. I said to Mark Garagos, who he's not always professional.
What?
But sometimes he is.
We're talking about Garagos or Weinstein?
Yeah, Garagos. And I was saying, I don't know, it was 4 years ago or something. I was like, Weinstein's got a jet. He's got cash. This is not going to work for him. He can go join Roman Polanski somewhere. Mm-hmm. And if I were him, I would gas it up right now and hit the open sky. And Mark was like, that's not really the right thing. He poo-pooed it.
He's right.
Well, he was doing it from a fiduciary standpoint, but not as a dude, you know? But I think as a neighbor and a friend, he was probably nodding inside to me saying he should take off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can flee anymore and how it works. I mean, you're not going through an airport, a commercial airport, but you may be able to go down to Van Nuys and pay somebody off and get on a G4 and G7 or whatever it's going to make it internationally and go for it. But
it's a lot of money.
He can't have that much money.
Where's it going to come from?
Who knows? I mean, I know his supporters are very loyal, you know, almost like this is a comparison I'm making off the top of my head, so this is not apples to apples, but like a mega church preacher, you know, like the people, the funding comes in, you know, but $1.5 billion, who knows?
Right.
All right. Well, I just don't know. It's weird. I don't know why you can sue people for that, but I guess you can. I mean, not that it's not horrific, but I sort of felt the same way when I was arguing with Gloria Allred when she was Michael Richards was dropping N-bombs, and I was like, it's horrible, but does that mean you need to get paid? And I don't know.
Well,
it's going to help his career.
Yeah, right. If anything, I think in this case, the families suffered a lot of harassment and threats for being crisis actors.
I guess if you say it, and if any way you mobilize your people to hassle the families, then for sure. But if you're just wrong, I don't get it. But anyway.
Well, speaking of Garagos, I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, but I would love to know any other inside info. Cain Velasquez, the former UFC heavyweight champ who was arrested on an attempted murder charge after an incident earlier this year when a man, he said, molested his son, was granted $1 million bail this week. That's according to Fox News.
Yeah,
you must know something because
I do.
Mark's representing him, right?
Yeah, it was his fourth or fifth bail trial. That was denied the first 3 or 4. He's been in for 253 days, and Cain was like, there's a school, or not a school, like a daycare or whatever, and there's the 40-something-year-old ne'er-do-well son who lives in the back room, and he's been accused of diddling the kids, and Cain caught wind that this guy may have gotten to his son, and then Cain literally like spotted him driving kind of thing, and then chased him, fired shots, didn't hit him, may have hit somebody else. Nobody died, and then Cain gets arrested, and then they deny bail for Cain, but the guy who's accused of pedophilia makes bail, or he's out.
And there was the stepfather was wounded.
Right.
Apparently.
I guess so. There's
Oy.
So no one was killed in
No.
that? Oh,
no,
okay.
no one was killed. Chris or Dawson, I don't know why this would remind me of that, but yeah. I mean, you're driving around with your stepson and Cain Velasquez is shooting at you, and
It's a fever dream.
it's got to be bizarre. But it made me laugh because I was driving home. You can look at this case, Chris. I think it came out. I was driving home, listening to AM radio yesterday evening, sitting in traffic, and they did this thing where they go, a man who worked for the Forestry Service, I think he was a firefighter in like the Forestry Service, was accused of soliciting an underage teen and then picking them up and driving somewhere, and he got caught in one of those traps, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but he
like
worked for
bait
like
car.
the Forestry Service, and then he met some 14-year-old online, but it was really a 23-year-old online.
Chris Hansen there.
And he got caught, and he's been fired, and he's awaiting trial, and then they go, John Merowitz Jr. is now waiting, and I'm like, this is why you don't do the junior bitches. Don't do it.
Right?
Yeah.
You
That's
think
your
he's going to
name.
star in the NFL? I know, but there's a much higher likelihood he's going to get a job for the
Right.
Forestry Service and solicit a 14-year-old online, and now your fucking name.
That's right. I feel like the junior should be something that maybe you can award later.
Yes, that's
after
a
an
great
achievement.
idea.
Like, I'm
Earn
not a
it.
senior till I'm over 55.
Right.
Why? I mean, maybe you could award the junior maybe after 15. I don't know.
Right. So, yeah, right. Because at 13, when you catch him torturing cats, you're
right.
going
You
like, all
revoke
right,
it.
we're
Yeah,
not.
you
not
ruined
doing
it.
that.
Right, but if he's a standout ball player in his ninth grade all-star basketball
Yeah.
team, then go ahead and start thinking
Yeah,
about
you can
that.
hold it over their head like, well, you know, one more year, you get the junior badge.
That story, work for the Forestry, solicited, I think happened yesterday, or at least I heard it yesterday. Anyway, I'm always just curious how the internet works. But go ahead.
Well, and also, I guess, in a way, the opposite of the first story. Who among us blames Cain for losing it for something like that?
course.
You know?
No, you're going to have a hard time finding a sympathetic jury to
The other guy.
the pedophile.
Right.
And then I said to Mark will tell you it's all jury selection, all of it, every case, just selection. And everything's a profile, women, black women, they're much tougher on, X, Y, and Z.
I
and-
believe you said tougher on black women.
Yeah. Or whatever it is, there's an algorithm. And believe
Right.
me, the people who can't judge, it's their job to judge. And they're trying to pick out the right demographic. But I said, you're going to want all parents in this
Right, yeah.
jury,
Dads.
right? And he's like, yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what you want, bunch of parents.
Well, there's another person that might
And of course, the opposing counsel is going to be looking for pedophiles.
put that right on your form.
Just check the box.
Somebody else might want to think about gassing up their plane and maybe heading out for the winter of their life somewhere else. Warren Beatty has been sued for allegedly sexually abusing a teenage girl 50 years ago, according to Variety. Christina Charlotte Hirsch doesn't name the star in the lawsuit, but identified the defendant as a well-known Hollywood star who was nominated for an Oscar for his role as Clyde in Bonnie and Clyde.
And dated Madonna for like a week.
Right, we can deduce. The documents obtained by Variety claim Hirsch is a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, battery, assault, molestation, and abuse at the hands of the defendant. She was around 14 when she claims Beatty groomed her and then eventually coerced her into this relationship. Hirsch filed the lawsuit as part of California's 2019 Look Back Law, which allows victims to sue for claims of sexual abuse that have fallen under the statute of limitations. 50 years.
Wow. Is that just California, that look back law? Like, had that happened in another state?
I don't know. It's not universal. I know that because that stuff runs out.
He lived up on Mulholland. I knew some people, and I heard some stories way back.
Really?
Way
Really?
back. Yeah.
What
So-
year? What, like in the 80s?
Yeah.
70s, 80s, yeah.
Like mid or early 80s.
Yeah.
So the story's possible.
Young girls.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Not 26. 17.
Teenagers.
Kind of. Yeah. Young stuff.
Was he involved in all the Roman Polanski, Jack Nicholson? Was he in that crew, like a Friends?
Certainly a contemporary, and I'm sure all those guys were drinking buddies and everything. He just, it's weird because it's like in that world, there's every guy's doing it, or there's many guys doing it.
Right.
3 of the guys become the face of the guys who are doing it, and the other 86 guys get nothing. You know what I mean? It all lands in the lap of Roman Polanski or Jack or whoever. Yeah. Warren gets none. Yep. You know what I mean? But Warren's probably running in the same circles and doing about the same stuff.
How old is he now, you think, Warren Beatty?
He's got to be in his 80s.
Late 80s.
So here's the story. Forest Service employee arrives at underage sexting, driving a fire engine.
Oh, boy.
But if you're trying to pick up a young child,
they'll be very excited about that.
I'll let you honk the horn.
The hose.
I got a Dalmatian
Turn the
back
lights
there.
on.
Turn the lights on. 38-year-old Mark McGill Jr. See, Dad?
Way to go.
When there was all the promise in the world, he was going to solve cancer.
Should have waited.
You went with Junior.
I wonder if he has another kid who's not a junior, but also might be curing cancer right now that we don't know about.
You got to switch juniors.
You should have, you changed the junior from one kid to another.
Yeah.
Yeah, he arrived to meet her in a fire truck, which is a taxpayer I don't appreciate. I won't judge the pedophilia, but that diesel is $7 a gallon right now.
Crossed the line.
Was she a fire crotch?
John.
That's right.
Coming from the fire
I'm a
mouth.
ginger. I
Right.
can say these things.
Yeah, pulled up in the fire engine with the intent of having sex with a teenage girl.
In a fire engine.
In a fire engine.
Warren Beatty, 85 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. And by the way, I just counted. I think there's 6 states with these look-back laws.
okay.
California, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina.
Oh, boy.
Vermont, and D.C.
Okay.
So interesting stuff. SNL is going to be interesting on Saturday night. When Dave Chappelle hosts, that's this weekend.
All I think about is...
Well, he's the election guy, isn't he?
Yep, exactly.
Right.
Oh, I'll tell you why he's hosting. He always hosts after elections. I think this is his 3rd time.
Right after Trump.
I love Dave Chappelle.
Me too.
But either you can smoke indoors or you can't. You can't just simply go, that guy can smoke wherever the fuck he wants. For the rest of you, it's dangerous and you shall be arrested.
He's
like... if one of the grips backstage just lit up while Dave Chappelle was out there, he would be led out of the building and zip tied.
Jon Reep style.
And and the entire Manhattan would turn on him.
Yes.
Like, what? There's a child out in that audience,
In a fire truck.
He just gets to smoke. He's going to walk out on stage. He's going to light.
Yeah.
He's going to light a cigarette, and he won't even inhale.
He waits till he gets on. It's not... He doesn't come out with it lit. He comes out and goes, oh, by the way.
And this is not
Look
Dice
what I
style.
can do.
This shit is lit.
It's lit. Yeah.
No, I mean, this is him saying, I like to start rehearsal Monday by taking a shit on Lorne Michaels' desk.
Right this way, Mr.
Anyone want to
Chappelle?
fire me? Some member of Baywatch you'd like to sub in for me? Or is it okay if Dave Chappelle hosts this week? Like, he does it. He walks out. He doesn't come out with it lit. He has to light it up. Then he doesn't even inhale it because you can't really smoke a cigarette when you're doing a monologue, So then it just sits there. It's all, I dare someone to say something to me.
Indeed.
And this is the level I'm at.
Indeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank God it's not a cigar, though. You imagine.
Cosby could do the cigars. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, the reason why this is going to be a little different is because the cast is fine with it, apparently, but a lot of the staff writers are boycotting the show, saying they would be, that they're
I
furious.
saw it last week. I think they may have boycotted last week as well. That thing was a fucking stinker.
They don't even know they're boycotting.
Well, a source tells Page Six that the writers are not going to do it, but none of the actors are boycotting. However, Dave's reps tell Page Six that there was nothing to suggest that there was a boycott when he attended the writers' meeting this week. Apparently, everybody was there and in good spirits. Dave has hosted the show twice before, each time right after an election. So maybe it'll be more improvised. I don't know.
We should do an experiment with, if I was a power wrangler and manage a lot of A-list celebrities, I would just go, let's take you different places to smoke and find out where your power ranking
Oh, that's
is.
good.
Ooh, yeah, go to like a cancer hospital.
Yeah,
Walk right
Dave
that's
Chappelle
the
could
top.
walk. He could go to an AIDS hospice and light up, and no one would say shit.
Right.
But they might say something to Clooney. I don't know.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I
Like, but
see.
to
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out. Now, if anyone from Saved by the Bell walks in there and lights up, they're going to be escorted
Good luck.
out. Like, let's figure out where you are.
That's good.
Yeah, you can't even smoke during a forest fire if you're from Saved by the Bell.
That's right.
It's like, we know there's already smoke, but you weren't Saved by the Bell. You put that
But don't use the truck if you're going to pick up that 14-year-old.
Right.
He will walk out. He will light up a cigarette.
100%.
yeah.
So we're not taking bets on this because we all know it's going to happen.
Is it a
Yes,
menthol?
then-
Are we doing the 100s?
Well, the real
what kind of
question-
cigarette are we smoking?
The real question for him is, if we got him drunk, are you going out there to enjoy a cigarette? So here's what I'm saying. The monologue is 6 minutes.
Right. How long does it take to finish a cigarette?
Probably about the length of a monologue. But smokers don't light the next one off of the last one. They go sometimes hours without smoking. They go into a movie theater and they sit down and they watch a 2.5-hour Marvel offering. They don't smoke. Then they walk out to the lobby and they go outside the parking lot and they smoke. Or people go out to dinner. They have their dinner. They have their drinks and they walk out to the patio. So he doesn't need to smoke during that 6 minutes.
Right.
And he's not really smoking. He could smoke in his dressing room, put it out, and then walk out. But
Well,
if I
it's a
got him
big if.
really
You look at-
drunk,
it's a power trip.
would he say, I just enjoy the mellow flavor of tobacco? Or would he go, I'm fucking doing it because I dare any of these fucking people to say a word?
I don't think you'd have to get him drunk to get him to
I wouldn't
answer
have to
that.
get him that way? Okay.
I think
Yeah, I
you're right.
wonder, will he, because like you said, it's a 6-minute monologue. It takes about 6 minutes. Let's make bets. Will he finish the cigarette? Will he put it out?
Oh, this is like a prop bet,
Prop bet.
with the length of the
Let's see.
national anthem
Right.
at the
How-
Super Bowl.
If it's a 100, I'm guessing he doesn't finish it. If it's a regular short pack, he could get through it in one monologue.
We have me talking to Garagos 5 years ago about telling Weinstein to flee. How long is this?
2 minutes.
If Weinstein wanted to leave to go to France
Right.
today,
In room with Roman Polanski.
room with Roman, share the same hot tub,
Right.
is he allowed to do that?
Yes. No charges. He could leave right now. In fact, I thought yesterday it was being reported that he had left and he was headed for Switzerland. Who knows if that's true?
Now, if he goes to France, can we bring him back?
No.
We still have no extradition, anything.
Right.
So,
Because 2 places he could go and there's no extradition. He could go to Armenia or he could go to France.
oh, that's a coin toss.
Yeah. So Paris or Yerevan? Well, they're both the city of lights.
Baguettes are incessant haggling. You're being called my friend all the time by people that are trying to screw you. All right, well, let me ask you the last question, which is, you're not Harvey Weinstein's representation. You are Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
And you're divorced. The kids are adults. And, hey, George Clooney spends more time in Europe than he does in L.A. It's not like you're never going to see the guy again. You like rich foods, evidently. Because it's just feeling to me like he stays here, the DA in New York files on Monday, and potentially the rest of his life is ruined from that point on.
His life is pretty...
Well, his life is ruined anyway, but I mean, he could really be incarcerated, and I mean, there could be from that point on, there's a window right now in a private jet. I mean, if I'm him, I go, listen, I'm just going to jump on a charter jet, and I'm going to France, and I'll be there. And
call me if you need me.
And the phone rings, and it's, a colleague of yours going, the DA's filed in New York, and I'd go, who's he talked to? And they drop a few names of a few folks that I remember that night. I go, I think I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, I don't think I'm coming. Do your investigation while I wrap up my loose ends.
Wow. So he kind of agreed with me. I remember at the time he was arguing. Oh, maybe I probably talked to him 8 times, but he does have to be sitting in a cell somewhere now wishing
Oh,
he
my God.
fled.
100%.
Well, like Mark said, no problem. We can't get him. There's no charges.
That's like in his brain, he must have thought, like, I'm definitely getting out of this.
Oh, I can beat this.
Yeah. Because he's gotten away with everything his whole life.
Exactly.
What's one more? I got all the money I need. I'll get out of this.
We talked about that. We talked about that with narcissists, with Cosby, with all these people. They don't think they're ever going to go down.
Well, what we always talk about is why they never kill themselves, which is this is part one of you thought you're going to get away with it. Then the next part is like, how come people kill themselves in prisons all the time? Like, why you just think they would, but they never do. But
Can't find a shoelace strong enough.
yeah,
Well, Epstein.
Weinstein, yeah.
With an asterisk.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
Yeah, let me tell you about our friend Jordan Harbinger. All right, Jon Reep, man, don't take so many days off. We love having you in here.
I will be back as soon as you'll have me.
Anytime, podcast, Country-ish, and Heffron and Reep Show. You can find that wherever you find finer podcasts. Live dates coming up, House of Blues, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Heading home, November 16th, Las Vegas. Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, back up and running, thank God, December 8th through the 11th. You go to countryish.com for all the live dates. Paul Wagner, American Nightmare, Unknown Subject as well. Me, Tucson, Rialto Theater, December 15th, and then it's off to Tempe. We're all going off to Tempe, December 16th and 17th for stand-up shows there at the Improv. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Jon Reep and Paul Wagner and Paul Bryan and Gina Grad. Say it. Mahala.